From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches on the sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin and pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Armored and filled with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains, just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, the cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. And neath the warp the souls are bound, to spread decay, to break the ground. Nurgle's gifts a putrid stain, a future where only disease remains. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. The rot spreads, there's no escape. The death god seals your fate.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Discussing the Resilient Podcast live stream. And obviously what we're doing today is the Grotmas detachment tier list. We are carrying on from where we left off. We've had 8 new detachments coming in here and we're going to obviously talk through them again. So maybe even have some adjustments to ones that we currently have on the list. But it's good to see people in chat. Lazy DM coming in instantly with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. So very quickly for the people, you can, if you enjoy the content, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help. If you want to support the channel more, you can consider pressing the join button below, becoming a Plague Marine. Becoming a Plague Marine gets you access to our Discord page, which can be found. The link is in the community tab on our YouTube channel homepage. If you are a member, you will see the link and you can click it. So the people that gifted them there, go check it out. We have all the music on our Discord as well, free for download. The name of the song is March the Death Guard, but you won't find it anywhere apart from on our Discord and on our channel videos because it's made by us for the channel. So yeah. But today we are nice and back to get into this here, and I think we've got 8 to go over today. Obviously, we've had a couple of double releases. Is it 9 actually? It might be 9 because we've had 2 lots of 2 releases. So it might have been 9. And we're going to add to our tier list now. Very quickly, let's have a quick check in with the chats. We've Goku Bartel, Things That Go Bomb, Jamie Dannett, Lazy DM, Monkey, that's the gifted ones, Toda Delta, and Martin Brandt. Hello, everybody. Very quick question: has anyone played the Flyblown Host yet from Things That Go Bomb? Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But yes, we have played it, and we have been testing some things out with it. And opinions are quite interesting. And hello, Andreas. How are you, mate? Thank you. Let's have a quick reminder of where we're up to. So, I received some feedback in a very, very passionate comment about how that I'm being quite unfair and my negativity is ruining it for the certain viewers who play Necron. So I'm going to change this from end my suffering to little bit naughty. Because they're a little bit too far, but let's not be too egregious now. A little bit naughty. But I'm going to try and refrain from ragging on Necrons this entire time because I think I upset someone. I'm going to have one joke at their expense at some point, so I'll catch that in when I want it. But just a quick reminder how we're doing the tier list. So the tier list is not just based off power. Power level is obviously quite an important thing for a lot of competitive players, but I wanted to judge this one based on how likely are you to basically give this a whirl compared to your index one. Not only that, does it fit the goals that Grotmas set out to achieve? The goal being, we want you to use new units that are basically not used very often and trying to give them a reason to get them on the table and a reason to basically come off the thing you're spamming playing and give this a whirl. Now, we've obviously, at the moment, currently got Necrons right at the top in the little bit naughty tier. I think their detachment is just too good in general. I think there's too many good things, and it takes units that were already very good and makes them even better, and it kind of invalidates a lot of the other choices within that book. Now, obviously, this week, we have the extra content of our delicious little MFM release with all the December data slate plus Minotaurian Field Manual, and has anything changed with the armies on the screen based on the manual? So Necrons got 0 nerfs to Doomsday Arcs or anything like that. So no. Hypercrypt, however, did get nerfed. It goes down to 2 units teleporting every turn from 3, which then actually means that the biggest competition for this thing just got nerfed. Which means this is even more egregious in how overbearing it is going to be of the Necron book. So you are definitely not going anywhere there, sir. Now, everywhere else, nothing too much has changed. Space Marines, obviously the change doesn't really impact Dark Angels. A little boost to their Company of Heroes detachment, which is nice, but I still think this one is pretty good compared to that one. Both of them on the same power level, so that's quite nice. Buff to Outriders and some units. Now, Deathwatch obviously got some increases to some of the units that they can take, but I don't think it changed anything really there. Admet got some slight, I think they got a points change. It was very minor, whatever it is. So again, Admech stay there. Nids again, not too much really here. Ours in general. Now the interesting one actually is that the Tyranid one has actually won an event. Genuinely, there was an event last week on the Meta Monday results where someone was allowed to take the new Tyranid detachment and they won the event. So I mean, this technically is pretty good. It's won an event, therefore it has legs. Do I still think it's nailed it? Potentially, maybe it moves up. I don't know what you guys think. Does winning an event automatically move you up? I still think it's a bit limiting and just wanting you to play warriors. And I think if this detachment would have let people run like Tyrant Guard and Hive Guard and gave them the same bonuses, that would have been nailed it. But for now, I'm going to keep that in real potential. Now, the big topic, obviously, as Death Guard players, is I put Flyblown Host in thanks but no thanks. After playing it and sort of listening and learning a different way to play 40k, I actually think this moves up to real potential. It's very different, and I don't think that a large majority of players are going to enjoy the playstyle. You give up a lot of output, and it's very, very different to Plague Company, incredibly different. Which obviously is a goal, but it's also not. Now, there are certain things when playing this attachment that reign true. The stratagems are not great. The 6-inch Pylon and Consolidate one is the lifeblood of this detachment, and you can do well with it. Like, I've been having good success with it, and I think it's been pretty good. Still don't think it dethrones Plague Company, which does give an extra way to play. That has been quite strong. You're looking at like a 60 Poxwalker, 18 Death Shroud kind of build at the moment. Mortarion going into Deep Strike and gaining Deep Strike from MFM actually I think benefits Flyblown far more than Plague Company. So actually I think this generally goes up to real potential, probably even above Nids at this point. So I'm quite happy with this so far. I will have to eat my words a little bit. I think the main problem we had is that we were so ingrained with our mindset of basically playing Plague Company and how Plague Company plays for like a year and a half at this point, 'cause it's all we've known. and then something comes along and tells us we can play a weird board control-y, swarmy, take over everything and don't let your opponent score faction, which is quite interesting. Now, whether that's going to translate to power, I think we'll have to see. The MFM changed quite a bit, and I think we suffer in general for some of the MFM changes. Oath's change being especially important to how we play. Mortarian's definitely going to get one shot if he wasn't already getting one shot, and so are our 6-man Brick to Death Shroud, which is a little upsetting, a little annoying, but you know, there's not much else we can do about that, so I can only really compare it to Play Company, and actually, I genuinely agree, and as Lazy DM has said, I think we can put Flyblown upper level into some real potential. I don't think it nails it, because some of the stratagems are still just awful, and don't do that much, because, again, they don't really synergize with the units we bring, but overall, the passive ability is pretty good. 6-inch Piling Consolidate is very good, and our points, being cheap as they are, really help this, but it kind of, to be competitive anyway, you kind of really want 18 Death Shroud, which is a bit of a commitment. I wouldn't recommend people go and, you know, buy out of stuff there, which is, you know, we'll have to see. But yeah, so far so good in testing. It's very different playstyle. You really have to wire your mind on how you approach it. I've been being taught by our Gene Stealer cult player with Brood Surge. It's just so weird to play, but it is pretty good. On the other hand, what isn't good is Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns is just trash. I don't think anyone has to combine you with this, tell you anything with this one. It is just not good. It is bad. It doesn't do anything. It's hoops upon hoops upon hoops, and I still think we have a hoops problem up here. But the Thousand Sun one's just like, you would never ever even remotely consider it moving forward. But hey, yeah, I think I agree, Hugh Janus. Flyblown looks funny if they just adjust data sheets, which annoyed me a little bit with the December MFM update. There was clearly a lot of effort put into certain factions to give them little minor changes, and ours wasn't. We didn't have like Blight Lords fixed, or Haulers just given like, there's so many easy fixes that can be put, not just for our faction, but to a couple of factions. Like, just giving Haulers +1 to wound versus monsters as well would be really nice. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain too much. We've got a book coming still. They'll probably get the changes there. So, let's jump into this week's detachments that we've had come out. So, first up, we'll go with the Eldar. So, the Armoured Warhost. Now, I'm going to start this one on a bit of a downer. This is, to me, personally, very boring. It's very uninspired. It is Ironstorm Eldar, but it is just boring, and I don't think the people are really going to take it. So they get Assault on all the vehicles, and they can reroll advanced rolls for Eldari vehicle flying units. So again, that's actually quite limited, because it means Warwalkers can't do it, or like D-Cannons can't do it, or anything like that. It's just like your Grav tanks, basically. Now, again, I'm going to rag a little bit on Necrons here, because Necrons get this Assault ability on less restriction. You get vehicle and mounted, and then they also get an entire second amazing rule of like being able to hit +1 on objectives. These guys just get to reroll the advance. This to me is probably the more fair way of doing it, because having Assault on all those units is very powerful. But I mean, this compared to the full 3 reroll to hit and wound for every single unit, it's just not cutting the bacon. But okay, let's move on. The enhancements, again, there's nothing here that's really stand out. Like, Eldari Cycle gives some +1 to wound. This one in the command phase, if you revenge your objective marker, you gain a CP, but you can just take a Way Leaper, which automatically gives you a CP every turn. It's like, okay. Spirit Stone of Rayleaf, Eldari Vehicles as Lone Operative is get 3-inch Lone Op, and you can heal something for D3 wounds. Like, okay, you've got like a weird Tech Marine there. But this one that should redeploy 3 Eldari vehicles, that's not too bad. But the thing is with vehicles, it's kind of obvious where they're going anyway. Because the big hulls, especially Eldar vehicles, are quite big and chunky. So unless they get first turn and go for some weird Alpha Strike, I don't see this being taken that much. And the thing is with Eldar as well, their core detachment has stuff like Fire and Fade and all this kind of thing. So it's pretty good already. 5+ Feel No Pain against mortal wounds. Okay, that's something. This one's interesting. Again, it's the advanced and you can disembark. That's pretty decent. So you can have like a transport that like a Falcon, move, advance, and then get some Fire Dragons out. But the thing is, like, Falcon, if it really wanted to, can deep strike anyway. So you can always deep strike and disembark. But like a bit like a drop pod. You got Vector's engines. You can shoot when you fall back. Cool. I'm pretty sure this exists in just normal Eldar. Shoot, fall back, and charge. Again, it's just kind of a worse version, more limited. And if it doesn't exist there, I'm very confused because people have been doing that to me for ages. 6-inch disembark, and you can disembark instantly and get some guys out, but they have to stay at 6. Pretty good for fire dragons and stuff, but just nothing here really screams to me like this is an Eldar vehicle attachment. It's just, I don't know, like when I was reading it, I was kind of just I got to like here and I was bored. And every other Eldar player I've like talked to doesn't seem overly excited about it. Now here's the thing. The Eldar Codex is coming out with like 8 detachments or something, which is crazy. So I imagine making a 9th one is actually quite hard because you've probably used all the good ideas already. But I think the base detachment rule of rerolling a hit and wound roll for Eldar vehicles is just far better than having assault. Because Eldar vehicles are pretty fast anyway. They're pretty damn fast. So I just don't see you really taking this over a free hit and wound. Like, think about Fire Prism. You can have 2 hit and wound rerolls on a Fire Prism in the other detachment. Here you get assault on it, which is okay, but you also can't like fire and fade it, which is one of the main things to keeping those things alive. So I don't know how you guys feel, but for the Eldar one, I think it's a thanks but no thanks. In all honesty, I think it's just boring. It doesn't even have the Eldar like flavor to it. It's no like hollow fields or anything like it used to be, because that's used to be like how they stay alive, is they project holograms of like the same vehicle, so people shoot that instead of their own. That would have been cool, anything like around that kind of thing, but I don't see anyone jumping to give this a whirl. Most Eldar players aren't playing Eldar as well for like Ironstorm levels of stuff. That's kind of not what people do. And you are competing with the Eldar Index, which, as Sam's pointed out in chat, is one of the best ones in the game. I don't think for a second, other than someone who's got a weird treadhead fetish but wants to play Elves, puts this on the table. Some people saying, why even bother? Do you reckon that's down here? I actually can see your argument for it, because why would you? I honestly think vehicles are better in this in the Index, and this is way more limited. You know what? I think I actually might agree. I think that could be one of the worst ones. See, I don't even think it does that lazy. I think it doesn't even encourage people who love vehicles, because people who love vehicles can just play the Index one and have full reroll to hit and wound on every vehicle, which with their like Bright Lances and stuff is far better than having a bit of assault on it. I don't know. It's definitely somewhere between here. I'm gonna let the chat help convince me which one it's gonna go in, but it's definitely, I don't think it's real potential. I think this is one of the misses of this detachment thing. Yeah, I think that's the thing we've got to think of, Godfred. I think if we're doing it to what we said, which is compare it to the Index, and does it give a person a reason to give it a try? Personally, I don't think it does. I think it's better than 1,000 Suns, but I like 1,000 Suns could have its own tier, to be honest, but we don't need any more tiers. So yeah, I'm going to put Eldar down there for now. I don't think it's very well written. I don't think it's got Eldar flavour, and I don't think it's something Eldar players want. But again, caveat, they do have a codex coming out with like 8 somewhat detachments. There'll be something in there for your Eldar players. Up next, so if we go next, so that's Eldaric. So, we'll get around to the guard one. We'll go for this one. So we'll go with the Imperial Knights. So Imperial and Chaos Knights have some weird ones. The detachment rule is basically you can bring allies. So the Imperial ones get to bring Forge World Skatari, so Admech, and the Chaos ones get to bring Cultists from TSM, which is quite cool. Now, thematically, cool. And also, it helps people to sort of alleviate the problem that Knights can have, where you had to kind of like bring Voidsmen at arms. So like you want something to do actions. Probably more so even Imperial Knights, because they actually kind of want to bring a big knight, although that has been a fading trend. We have seen Canis Rex and dogs recently, which is sad. I just don't think Knights are generally in a good spot. Again, I personally don't think Knights should be a standalone faction. I just think it's a nightmare for balancing, a nightmare to make them fun and interactive. When they're too strong, it's oppressive and everyone goes to them. But again, they're a faction now. We're not going to get rid of them. I'm not going to say that at all. Now, what does it actually do for them? So they get to bring some allies along, what we said. While they're within 6 inches of the Imperial Knight models, they get to reroll hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1, and they get to reroll hit ones and 1 naturally. Now, this is pretty good. It gives you a way to, like I said, bring little dudes along, and basically fills one of those little gaps. Now, you are giving up on this one. The 6-up Feel No Pain, pretty much, because everyone pretty much takes that. You're giving up the enhancement that lets a knight just teleport for a turn, which is really, really good. And obviously, if you kill warlords, you get a 5-up Feel No Pain. Now, what are we getting in return? Because I haven't really looked at the Imperial Knight one properly. I won't lie. I looked at the Chaos Knight one because it's Chaos. Imperial Knights just bore me. Sorry. So add 4 wounds. That's not bad. Each time the bearer makes a ranged attack. Okay, now that's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. Rerolling hit rolls of 1 is one of the biggest problems. Like you put that on like a Crusader. Now your Crusader's hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. That's pretty good. Happy. You know what? I quite like that. That's pretty good. Wait, do Crusaders hit on 2s or 3s? Always escapes my mind that. Someone correct me very quickly. Crusaders, did they, because they double gun shooty only knight, did they actually give them ballistic skill too? Or is it if you stood still you get to add 1 to the hit roll or something like that? It's been, I'm not gonna lie, because they've not been great in the meta, it's been so long since I've seen these things. So, no, they have ballistic skill 3. What's their ability? That's why they used to bondsman, but they can't do that anymore, so they're not be able to do that for a while. That's the last time I saw an Imperial Knight player at an event. It was when they could bondsman themselves and the armor and they'd hit on 2s. That's where I've got it in my head from. But still, it's still pretty good. Oh yeah, no, this isn't the one with the Admech silliness. The Admech that's the Admech detachment where they can make knights and stuff advance and charge and all that. It's kind of weird. But yeah, rerolling hit rolls of 1 again. I don't know why this is 20 points though, when a certain detachment that I will not name by names has an enhancement that can, definitely not going to name it by names. But there's sort of other detachments in the game that literally have abilities that are like 10 points more, and it's a 6-inch aura of like reroll all hits and wound rolls of 1. But again, I'm not going to name them by names because I don't want to rag on certain factions too much. But it just, again, it feels a little bad when it's like a 20 points for just give a single unit that. Now, that being said, what else have we got? So, you can give a Tech Priest, it lets him repair it and gets him loan up. That's 35 points, that's very expensive for a guy that can give a Tech Priest loan up and just repair a knight for 2 wounds a turn. That's very expensive. Now, let's have a look at the things that we got. 5-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds. Not bad. Until the end of the battle, each to one Imperial Knight's unit from damage is destroyed, your Admech get lethal hits against it. That's not too bad, but I mean, ideally you don't really want to be losing a knight to give your little battle line dudes who are mainly there to be doing actions and stuff, I won't lie. Bear in mind, they mainly want them to be there to do actions and score for you, not deal much damage. I don't really think that's worth it to give them lethal hits. I won't lie. I'm not throwing a knight away to get that. Obviously, if it happens and it just happens and you have a spare CP, sure thing, but I don't know. So you can bondsman an Admech by the looks of it. Yep. I'll be honest, when are you ever going to bondsman an Admech unit when you could bondsman an Armiger? Like, the Armiger's going to make far better use out of it. Because, again, it's not like they can take any Admech unit. They can only take the, what do you call it? They can only take, Skitarii, basically Skitarii Rangers and Vanguard. That's about it. I don't see unless you're desperate, I don't see a point when you bondsman a Skitarii unit over an Armiger. And maybe there's an Imperial Knights player in the chat who can tell me maybe I'm stupid, and that's why. So I'm not too sure about that one. But so look what else we got. This one's very good though. Ignoring all hit modifiers kill Imperial Knights. They really, really hurt. Like, so being able to ignore that, gold. But that's genuinely really good. Annoying thing is though, you have to put it in the command phase, so you can't use it like when you're choosing to shoot. So it's not like you can set it up. You have to know what you're doing for it. So you need a little bit of pre-planning, but at the same time, really, really good because -1 to hit absolutely is brutal against knights who only hit on 3s. So I got on here. Brilliant. That's good. That's good. So the Imperial Knights character unit from your army, one from his Admech. Great. Gives them both assault. Cool. That's pretty good. A little bit of movement, extra bonuses there. Assault is a great rule to have. Again, I don't think you really care about giving it to the Admech unit, but just having the Admech unit nearby who can be doing actions and let your Imperial Knights character, your Crusader or something advance and shoot, or Canis Rex advance and shoot. Brilliant. And then they got Overwatch. I forgot that this Overwatch one is actually quite interesting. Now, you can use it on a Tyrant as well, which is quite, again, oh sorry, not Tyrants, they're called Dominus Valiant, yeah, Knight Valiant, for Loyalists. Now, 1 CP Overwatch of that thing is actually pretty cool, and it's good to see it back, and I genuinely think that makes Valiants look interesting, because the whole point of bringing a Valiant was to kind of have this like close-up brawly knight. That's why the T13 with a 2-up save, and they get the Flamer, to like, and the big harpoon, and I think that gives them more reason to bring this, which is quite nice. And again, you get to make use of the Overwatch, which is the main thing that knight does well. So overall, in general, as much as I don't think that it really is going to overtake the main one, I quite like it in general. I think it's nice if you have like a Mechanicus army and you want to bring it along. I think the problem is if it's the problem I have with it in general is what if you don't want that? What if you don't want to bring what do you call it? What if you don't want to bring Admech? What if you don't want to collect Admech? It's a non-detachment for you. Now, if you have Admech and you like Admech, cool, great, new way to sort of play, new thing, and there's some good stuff in there. So, but I'm reluctant to put it into nailed it because I don't think your detachment should require you to bring a different army. Because there are some people out there that just don't want to do that. Like, some people don't want to go out and buy 30 Skitarii because this detachment might go away. And then they've got 30 Skitarii that they just have no use for anymore, which feels bad. So I'm reluctant to put it into nailed it, but I do think it has potential. And for people that do want to play it and do have Skitarii, and maybe are interested and will go out and buy it, then it's actually a really cool attachment. But I'm just hesitant to put it into nailed it, because I think for you to be nailed it, you have to be stand on your own 2 feet. Do you know what I mean? You have to be able to do your thing by being your army. Like the bonuses that the Admech brings are great, but again, you have to have the Admech. It's not like I can play Flybone Host with my Death Guard. I just go get my Death Guard and go play it. If you just had Knights and this attachment came out, you don't have one. You got to go buy 3 boxes of Admech first, and then some characters as well, which feels a little bad to me. So I'm reluctant to put it in nailed it, guys, but I don't think it's terrible. So I'm going to put it in real potential for now. Let's have a quick check on what chat is thinking. I think both Knight Detachments nailed it. You reckon, Lazy DM? It's a new and different way to play. It is, admittedly, and it helps people potentially start new armies. See, that's the thing. That's why it's been done. It definitely is trying to incentivize people going and buy a new army. But the problem I have is, like, so what about if you just don't want those armies and you just want to play for this? It feels like, I don't know. I that's what hesitates me to put in nailed it. Like, nailed it for me is like use the stuff in your own army. But I get the point you're trying to make. Detachment units get their army rule right now on the detachment. Do they? Because they don't have the army rule on the data sheet, so I don't think they should. I'd have to check that. Opens up double Overwatch, hit with a Knight, then Overwatch it with an Admech. True, you could double Overwatch because it is 2 different detachments. Oh, you can only Overwatch with... Is it actually a single weapon? Did I read that? Did I miss that bit out? Oh, okay, yeah. Right, so let's basically bring a Valiant. That's weird. It's basically just bring a Valiant. In my opinion, that's what that reads to me. That says bring a Valiant. So I'm just going to put it in real potential. I don't think it's going to upset the meta. But again, if you have the models, I think you will enjoy it and you'll get have some fun with that one. Creations of Bile. Okay, Creations of Bile. CSM. I think this straight jumps right up here. I'm going to be honest. Before we even get into it. I do know the Chaos ones. I read the Chaos ones. I think the Creations of Bile one is very spicy. There are some silly things this can do. Now, all this being said, and I think like the bonuses you get here is pretty damn cool. You get to basically at the start of the game, you can either pick one of these buffs or roll 2 dice. If you have Bile, which you're probably going to take Bile, you get to re-roll them, and you get the buffs on all of your infantry. So it isn't infantry heavy, incentivized. You don't really want the vehicles and stuff. You might still need to bring some firepower, but being able to add 1 to your attacks, 2 to your movement, improves weapon skill by 1, which is really good. Toughness by 1, really good. 1 to the strength, pretty good. And ballistic skill, you just hope you don't roll. Unless you've brought like an army of like Obliterators and Havocs again, cool, then keep it. But it's a very cool rule, and a lot of like you're not going to be, especially like you've brought a melee army, let's say. You're happy with 5 out of 6 results. That's pretty good. You've not got many duff ones in there. So having 5 out of 6 chances to get something good, and then being able to re-roll them if you've brought by like I'm gonna roll it real quick. Let's see what we get. So if I roll this right now, I got a 3 and a 1. So my army has weapon skill 2 and +1 attack. That's really, really good. Like, Jesus Christ, that's so much output increase to an army. So that's really cool. The enhancements. Bearer's weapons have precision. That's cute, not really too great. Chaos Lord, having +1 wound, feel no pain. Brilliant. Real good stratagem. It's a bit generic, but it's really, really good. I love that it's possible to roll double. Yes, it's possible. It is possible. But again, we're Chaos. There's always hoops, apparently, which we're gonna have a hoop rant soon. 25 points, 12-inch no setup. Yes, finally, Chaos gets one without having to bring a goddamn tyrant. So that's obviously a very good upgrade. You can put that on a character at home if you wanted to, and you can just sort of hold that. Or if you just hate 6-inch deep strike now. But it's still really good, even though 3-inch deep strike's been nerfed. It's still really, really good to have. And then, nice last thing, you know, it's really good. But again, is it 35 points good? Possibly, but I don't know. 1 damage plus, so having a fun damage 3, and then you can obviously pop the Chaos Lord thing and make a damage 4 for a turn, which is really nice. And you can reroll all hit rolls. It is very powerful, admittedly. It is very good. I don't know if it's 35 points good, probably 30-ish, 25-ish, but it's still really good. And the stratagems, again, subtract 1 from the hit roll, great. It's always solid to have. 4 up, fight on death. A 5 up if you're a thing, if you're a damned unit. Again, no one really cares. You're not going to fight on death for a unit of cultists. But that's really good. Then you've got this one's a bit weird here. That is the only thing that I don't like about this one is the weird CP cost. Like 2 CP for rerolling wound rolls against characters is a bit harsh. Given like Khorne, like World Eaters have it for 1 CP against like vehicles, monsters, and characters. Now you do get this weird little like if you kill it, any enemy unit within 6 must then take a battle shock test. But like I would rather just delete this sentence here. I'd just delete. Let's have a look. Where there you go. Delete here down, and I'd rather that be 1 CP. That would be much better. But again, we do have Chaos Lords with access to -1 to the stratagem cost, which is pretty good to have, to be fair. So it kind of offsets that. And this one here, so you have to suffer D3 mortal wounds, but then you get to pick an extra augmentation. Now, again, it's 2 command points, and then I have to hurt myself as well. That's quite an ask, because you can always roll a 3 and just like snipe like a Terminator or something, which is like it doesn't feel great, or like possessed or something like that. And it's 2 CP at the same time. If it was 1 CP hurt yourself, or just 2 CP doesn't hurt yourself, I'd like it a lot more. It's still good, you're still going to use it, but again, it's just, why do we always have this like weird caveat of you must suffer for this? Like these hoops. So there's a hoop here, and there's like a weird, like, again, extra thing for no reason down here. This is silly, this next one. 1 command point, restore D3 if it's battle line. Plague Marines are battle line. I've been talking to friends Sam about it. You can revive D3 Plague Marines for 1 command point. Can the Plague Surgeon get that, please? Because that would be lovely. Don't get me wrong, you could roll a 1, but the fact you can restore D3, or you can just get like a possessed back or something like that, that's really, really good. And then the last one being 1 CP, advance and charge. Now, we've talked about this. This is an incredibly powerful. I actually think this is actually powerful as well. It's not just like a new way to play. It's very powerful, heavy infantry, and it's just fun. It's fun in the best way, because when you get to roll the dice, you get different buffs, which means every game is going to be a little bit different. The stratagems are also really good. You just got to bear in mind some of the CP costs. The enhancements are great. And it's just a different way to play CSM, where you can basically, you get to be like a mad apothecary and sort of like, you know, go, oh, okay, cool, I'm a homunculus, I've just gave all my guys plus, you know, 1 attack, plus 2 move, I've brought a Master of Possession, now I'm on Possessed move like 11, with an advance and charge, and it just kind of gets crazy and can go over the rails, and then you bring like 30 of the damn things and just swarm at someone. You can bring Obliterators back as some. I just think it's especially for a book that has as many detachments as CSM, is it a little bit naughty? A little bit naughty is when I think they've gone too far. And I think if this like applied to vehicles, or you could just pick for every unit individually, then it would definitely be a little bit naughty. But I think right now, I think this is bang right next to Admech at the very top of nailed it. I think this is just a brilliant detachment, and it's definitely made some people I know a bit more excited to play CSM, and I think there's some real fun potential in it. And yeah, a detachment without making it vehicle heavy is nice. You don't need Vindicators, you don't need Predators in this, you don't need Forge Fiends. You can just run someone down with mass aggression, which is really good. And also, you don't need Rhinos. Like, you're probably going to want a Rhino if you're going to bring Chosen, but you can play like Possessed Bombs, all that stuff. It's just really good. So I think this is bang on nailed it. I'm super happy to see this in the game. I think it's one of the best choices they could have made. Up next, oh joy, it's the Chaos Knights. Okay, thematically, love it. Mechanically, despise it. I think this is everything wrong with Chaos design. So, what is it? Well, the friendly damn units are a 9 inch this unit, blah, blah, they can reroll hit rolls and win rolls and 1. Okay, this is automatically just not as good as the other one, because again, Cultist compares to like Skitarii, just not even like close. Now, the only thing I need to ask is, are Cursed Cultist damned? Because I don't want to see a Cursed Cultist with this thing, that would be pretty gross. Let's have a look. Can I... You can damn units. Right, are a Cursed damned? Someone tell me if that is. But basically, every time the Chaos Knights is selected to shoot or fight, it can make a dark sacrifice. Cool. If it does, select one damn unit within 6. So we have to have a unit within 6. Okay. So just like the Imperial Knights, we have to get one of these cultisty, battle liney, troopsy units near the knight. Cool. We must then take a leadership test. Okay. So we've got to pass. Let's jump. So the first troop is within 6. Then we're going to jump another one, which is do a leadership test. Even if we're successful, we have to eat 3 cultists. Nom 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 nom. And then if we are not successful, we have to eat D3 plus 3. Nom 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 nom. So more hoops. And then when we do that, we can give ourselves lethal hits or sustained hits. Now, the problem I have with this is the knights that Chaos can take. There is like 2 knights this is good on, which is the Despoiler, in which case with all the guns it's actually pretty good. And then maybe the Castellan version. Par that, the other Chaos Knights just don't have the shot output to make this reliable. Both of these abilities hit on 6s. They require 6 to hit. You've got a Laser Destructor on one knight that has 3 shots. So you're on average not going to get one. You've got the Volkite Combuster, which is pretty poo anyway. Like, that thing's not great. And then, like, the other knight's a Rampager, which is going to go and literally body anything it says in close combat, so it doesn't really need the buffs. I just don't think any knight part of the Despoiler, maybe the Castellan, I know the Tyrant has a flame of that auto hit, so doesn't even get to roll this, and a one-shot harpoon. And then you got the little guns on top, but they don't really add up that much. Let's be honest, we've all shot them, they don't add up all that time. So the reality, I think the buff you're actually getting isn't as great as people think. But if you have like double Gatling Despoiler, now that gets value, or double Battle Cannon Despoiler, that gets value, because you got the amount of shots. But I just feel like the profiles that this army has access to, it's like, this doesn't really line up. Because the thing is, yes, you can put it on Brigands and stuff like that, but again, like, if we're doing War Dog spam, which we're already doing, do we want to be eating dudes for every armored War Dog? Like, 2 Brigands want to shoot, and I've just 8. Like, I failed one of my leadership tests, and now I've 8, like, 5 guys from that squad, and another 3 guys from that squad. Like, you're having to kill your own guys, and it's going to feel really bad when you kill your own guys, roll the hit rolls on your knight, and don't get a single 6. Like, cool, I just, like, murdered my own dudes for nothing. Like, it's going to feel bad. And it's just the hoops, man. I just hate the hoops. But let's carry on anyway. So, this here, each time the bear makes stat sacrifice, the maximum number of models are destroyed. What, like, if that was minimum, that'd be bonus. But you get both. So again, it's not just, oh, you can have both abilities when you do the thing. It's, no, have an extra hoop. Have an actual, like, kill as many guys as you possibly can. So this, like, makes, and this is 20 points with a downside. This should be 10 points because it's bringing a downside along with it. I just, oh, it annoys me. Pave the way. It's up to the 3 damage units to have Scout. Pretty good. Actually good. That's you take that 100% all the time. The only issue being, like, again, the Scout, that means they're not within 6 of your knights to eat. But I'm sure you can obviously string them back. Don't be ridiculous. But again, it's like, it's a bit at odds with itself. But yeah, carry on. We got Tyrant's Banner. Each time they make a stat sacrifice, select a visible damned unit to take a leadership test instead of the damned unit within 6 inches. Okay, it's 5 points. It's 5 points. That is better. But, like, again, we're just going to nom a random squad from across the board. Like, I don't think this is. I have 5 points left in the list. This is, I don't think you bring this for the specific reason of using it. The last one, the bearers feel no pain 6 up, and you can ignore all modifiers to its movement characteristic or its function. Good, actual good. Whether it's 35 points of good, not a chance in hell. This is not to give a knight 6 up feel no pain. Like, I don't think it's 35 points. Rerolls, ignore modifiers is very specific for movement characteristics, advanced and charge rolls. Like, there are things that get you like -2 to charge and all that stuff, admittedly, but it's just, it's a bit, that effect is a bit niche. If it was ignore all modifiers, then 100% 35 points. But, like, the Female Pain is cute, but I don't think it's worth 35 points, so I'm just not sure. So, okay, so when a Chaos Knight's unit should be destroyed, again, you get cultists get lethal hits. Again, this just, cultists are not like Skitari. That effect is not the same. Now, again, ACDC is its own question, but that's a lot of points. And ACDC without the dudes that you can bring with them, and that's most of your cultists at that point, because that unit's kind of expensive, and this kind of wants you to bring lots of cultists because they want to be doing your actions and things for you. But like a normal cultist could be lethal hits, like wow, auto guns, woo, or like close combat weapons, woo. I don't know. That's not great. That's not great. Wretched Masses. So you get to bring back a unit of dudes excluding the Cursed Cultist. Thank God they put that in. Actually, props for that. What is with this E? Destroyed. Okay. You get to bring a unit back. Again, this is not 2 CP worth. They are a unit of cultists. They are little dudes. And you're not going to run 20-man cultist squads because you're just not. Like, no one does that. But this to me should be 1 CP. It's also once per game. And it's 10 cultists back for 1 CP. I'd use it. 2 CP for that, probably not going to use it. Soul Hunger. Fight phase just after a Chaos Knight's unit from your army is fought. If you destroyed stuff, you get to heal. That's not bad. That's not bad. Healing Knight's pretty good. It's a shame it's only in the fight phase, which means like it's going to be like on a carnival or a rampage, and usually those things get one-rounded when they go in. Because they go in, they kill something, they die. That's, if anyone plays competitive especially, that kind of like just happens. It's the way rampages and carnivals work. They don't tend to stick around after the turn they go in at. Now this one here, advance, charge, great. I'm never going to say no for that one. Be able to shoot and declare a charge is really good, so that's just solid. Yep, 1 CP for that, brilliant. 1 damage for army until enemy phase. They're not considered to be enemy. Oh yes, you can shoot at units with cultists in. Yes, it's not bad, but the same is like what are cultists don't tend to tie up that much stuff. Like unless you like tag something like a tank, like even like 5 intercessors like beat the shit out of them and kill most of them. Now and if it was a tank, you just shoot anyway. Now the good thing is like you get to shoot at anything. You can never get stopped shooting. But again, you are also like blowing your own guys up. Roll 1d6. Oh, it's just one model. Oh, yeah, that's not too bad. Each time an enemy model, each time an enemy model loses a wound. So for every wound you deal, you roll a dice. So if you did 10 damage to it, you'd have to roll 10 dice, and then 5 cultists would die. Again, it gives you a buff, but then it also like you have to have a downside because you're chaos. I don't know. And preserving the idols, your opponent's bit phase just after an enemy ends a unit phase. 1 case damage from the damage unit, select damn unit. It's battle shocked. That damage can make a normal move up to 6. Now this is a reactive move, but again, you have to have a Chaos Knight be the one that's near the enemy unit that finished the move, and then have a damned unit that's not battle shocked and not within engagement range within 6 inches of the knight, and then the guys can make a 6-inch move. That's like weirdly specific because it's not like they just finish near damned unit and the damned unit can reactive move. No, they have to be finished near the knight, and then the damned needs to be near the knight, and then the damned can move. It's just, again, hoops. The chaos designer at GW just loves hoops. He's like, jump through the hoops, monkey. And I don't know, what does this bring back in a package? I think, honestly, like, I know people are really excited about the fact that it's like, you get to like bring cultists along and you get to eat them and it's kind of funny. But you're giving up Knights of Shade as well. It's just like one reason like why Chaos Knight Detachment works. The Chaos Knight army rule now kicks in from turn 1, which is pretty good. It's decent. You might actually get some use out of it, but even then it's still unreliable. Like, and all if you want my kind opinion is here. My brutal honest opinion is here. I think once people have like played it and got over the, because again, the main criteria is what reason does it give to give you to play over the main detachment? Does it make big knights better? Like marginally, marginally, but this detachment has made me want to play Chaos Knights. I get that, but like I wanted to play Flyval even when I thought it was dog shit, like just because it's somewhat different. But if I was a Chaos Knights player, I'd be so disappointed at this because I'd just be like, I don't like it. I was just like, I want all the nom. Feel free, you can nom all you want. You can nom your own colours, but for me, it just annoys me so much because of the design of Chaos Hoops. Like, if this was just you must nom your own guys, but everything else in here is great. Like everything else, like yes, you do have to eat your own dudes, but that one downside gives you access to stuff that is more powerful because you need to have the resources of the dudes. You then lose the resources of the dudes as you nom because again you want those. Bear in mind if you have if you have 10 cultists, the second they hit 5 or 4, sorry, they become way worse at the one job you want them to do, which is actions, because they will battle shock all the damn time. So you don't really want to nom them, and I don't know. I don't think the index is already awful lazy. Unfortunately, I think the index is good because of Knights of Shade. And Knights of Shade is the only reason Chaos Knights get anything done. Because they're so good at primary denial. I think the second you take away Knights of Shade, not only do the Knights themselves become harder to use, I think the wards become harder to use. And I think the buffs you get to large Knights are so minimally small that it's just not worth it. Yeah, Toxtrio makes a good point as well. Biggest gripe is simply the Knights only get 2 strats. Is that actually only 2? Do the rest of them all require the thingy? Do the rest of them all require the cultists? So Damned, yeah, you can shoot. So you can shoot within Damned. Fall back and charge, that is a Knight. That's a good one. This is a Damned unit. Respawns, yep. Chaos Knight heal, which is sort of used. That requires Damned unit. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, like only like 2/3 really affects the Knights. And only 2 of them. Yeah, only 2 of them can be used without Damned. And the entire detachment wants you to constantly be eating your Damned units. Oh boy. It's not even for the entire turn. So if you wanted to shoot and fight, you've got to eat cultists twice. I honestly think this one's a thanks but no thanks. If you were excited to play it, because the problem is I've got Imperial Knights here, and I think this one is better than this one. I do. I think thematically this one works better because you're not actively like having to hurt yourself, but like, the Skitarii get to do the reason you brought them in the first place, which is go around, do actions, score me points, and then chip out a little bit here and there. This is like eat my dudes. Like it's funny. I think it is funny, but I just don't think it's it. Okay, so the cultist fact. Right, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick check of this guy. Right, the problem there, Lazy, is this needs this guy to get within 12 inches of an enemy unit. So you have to get within 12, have a knight within the range for the aura as well to make them more likely to fail it, and then if you fail it, then you get to do something. But then this cultist squad, because obviously it's popped out to shoot something, is about to get eviscerated the next turn. Like, and again, this guy's 45 points. You could just bought 10 more cultists. I would rather to the 10 more cultists. I think there's some cool things you can do with it. Like, this, it's cute. It's a nice little. I get what you mean. Like, it does some battle shock as well, which is quite nice. But I don't think you're gonna bring this guy double the points cost of the cultist unit, and then go and just to try and get a battle shock off. You're doubling the points cost of the trash throwaway unit, which is what it's good for to just try and get a battle shock off. So unfortunately, I'm going to keep it in thanks, but no thanks for now. I don't think it's as egregious as these two. I think at least this is fun thematically. I think this has more fun thematic than this. This is just boring. The Eldar one is just super turbo boring. But I do think it is unfortunate thanks, but no thanks for most people. But if you enjoy it, like, by all means, man, power to you, man. Like, go play it. Oh god, this one. Grey Knights. Grey Knights. Okay, this goes one of two places. This either goes here or here. And the only reason I suggest putting it up here is because the Grey Knights one has a lot of potential. Giving stuff real all hits. Again, it's a bit like where you got control stuff. It's hey, the Thousand Suns version is hey, we have Grey Knights at home. It's just far worse. Now, the Grey Knights one wants to take over areas of the board, but it also gives you a caveat that purifiers have their own aura around it, which is pretty good. So that's pretty nice. Now, the only concern I have with this, because it gives full hit rerolls, which is really nice. You do lose a lot of your tricks. So you lose your Mist of Deimos, which is your if someone walks within 9, you can pick the unit up. You also lose your Armor of Contempt, which isn't as bad anymore because that's just got nerfed quite heavily, only lasting for one activation rather than a phase. And you gain some decent stuff. You get like a 4-up invulnerable here. You gain the ability to do some mortal wounds if people charge you. You can reroll wound rolls of 1, which is always good for any unit, because then you can reroll all hit rolls and then reroll wound rolls of 1. So there's a lot of rerolls in here. So that's pretty good. You can also subtract charge rolls, which is nice. Again, a bit more control. So it's not as good as like Mists, but being able to subtract 2 from charge rolls is pretty damn good. So the reason I have it debated is it gives people a reason to bring purifiers, which is brilliant. Like, that's the whole point of this. Now, can this make some pretty good shooting armies? Yes. My issue, and it's always been my issue with Grey Knights, is does this not just devolve into bring 5 Dread Knights? And then it's just good. Then it's just, like, stupid. Like, 5 Dread Knights, rerolling all hit rolls is just like... Because I don't want it to devolve to that, but I've got a bad feeling it is. It's going to devolve to, here's a Purifier squad strung out to max. Here's 3 Dread Knights all around it. Cool. Because their uppy down is the army rules, so there's going to be a lot. Like, there's going to be a lot of those guys in there. Both of those strats were significantly worse, still got worse. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, I'm worried that this is actually an upgrade for Dread Knight spam. Because it's just, man, full rerolls to hit on Dread Knights is kind of wild. Like, those things were already annoying. Like, yes, they don't have as many outs anymore, because they can't just miss the demos away, and they can't just Armor Contempt 2 up and cover. But again, Armor Contempt's already worse. So I think you just go with this one. I think this becomes the... I think this one just becomes the overall dominant one. And for all the wrong reasons of, hey, let's just abuse Dread Knights again. Which makes me want to put it up here, because I don't think it actually is going to... I think it's going to... People are going to start playing it with Purifiers and all these cool different units, and then someone's going to realise, hey, it's just better if you just Dread Knight spam it again. And this is... It's not really a detachment issue, it's just Grey Knights. Like, history of Grey Knights competitive list is just Dread Knight spam. It's all it is. It's all the army has. And they're so annoying. And I got a bad feeling... Like... I just got a bad feeling that this is just going to devolve into horrible lists of like this thing just drops down, kills everything, picks up, repositions, kills everything, and it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. So, what do you guys think? Is this a little bit not? Is this nailed it? Because nailed it for me would have been like where it's encouraging like more things. If the caveat was shared, like a lot of other things, which is you can reroll hit rolls of 1, that's fine. But if the full hit rerolls was linked to like infantry. If it was infantry units within your field can full reroll hit rolls, then that incentivizes people to bring stuff like Terminators, Strike Squads, Inceptors, something different. But the fact it's just any unit again, I feel like we're just going to devolve back into, hey, here's 5 Dread Knights or 6 Dread Knights and some Purifiers, and the Purifiers are almost relegated to just being the backline enabler for the Dread Knights who do all the hard carrying. Well, I don't know what you guys think about it, but that's how I feel. And I'm not sure whether that goes into nailed it. Is there any Grey Knight players in the chat? I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. Orel, thank you very much for coming to play Green, mate. Thank you very much for showing the support, man. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check the community tab on our YouTube homepage and get yourselves into our Discord. You might have to scroll down a little bit. Yeah, I think people are here saying like, yeah. So Jesse, who plays them, the list I have is 6 Nemesis Dread Knights, 1x10 Purifier with Crow, 2x5 Purifiers, and 1x10 Scout. It's nasty and so much better than the previous detachment. Because this is the thing. Tricks and gotchas and like little redeploys are all great. Or you could just table someone. And you don't have to worry about 9-inch someone. You don't have to worry about using Mr. Deimos if everything is dead, because then nothing is there to threaten you. The biggest thing this thing has a weakness to is rapid ingress. But again, you can play around that by screening and actually positioning and stuff like that. I genuinely think this does go into a little bit naughty. I don't think it's going to be like a meta destroyer, because like things like Ultramarines and Necrons, I think, are going to take that. But I think it's just going to... I think it just makes Dread Knights even more toxic, I'll be honest, with the Dread Knight spam, and we've got a couple of people agreeing in the chat. Yeah, can take into any meta. Naughty, I don't think it encourages a new way to play, which it doesn't. I think it tried to, but then it misses like one limitation, and then Dread Knights just go, oh, we're the best abusers of this again. So I actually reckon this does actually fit the criteria we got for a little bit naughty. It tried to do it, and I respect its effort, but this is just going to devolve to the same thing. I don't think it's like here compared to the Necron, but yeah, I think this one actually sneaks into a little bit naughty. I'm not. It was so close. It was so close. It would have been if this just didn't let Dread Knights get all the bonuses, it would have been like here or like here, not quite here. But yeah, as right now, I think this just doesn't encourage a new build. It just goes, hey, spam more Dread Knights and get into the little bit naughty tier. Unfortunately, but hey ho. Orcs one. The Orcs one. So Orcs have become guard. They give out orders. They can bash people's heads to give them double orders. It's kind of funny, I won't lie. But you can give some pretty good orders. You can reroll charge rolls. You can add one to the strength characteristic. You can give yourself cover, and you can add one to the hit roll. Now here's the thing: they're not as good as guard orders. They're not. But the good thing is you can double stack them, as admittedly as to crump someone's head. It also gives Storm Boys a battle line keyword. Storm Boys were already being taken, so I don't think that's too important here. But what this does is, and the main thing is actually, I think, is shooter drills. Because being able to give infantry or mounted add one to the hit roll actually makes some interesting, like, it kind of brings like looters back into the fold. And flash gets were being taken, but not too much. And I think it's pretty freaking funny as well. It's just funny. It's just... You can put wall bosses in. Is it up here? Yeah. Love this, by the way. This is one of my favorite kind of enhancements. This kind of model can go in a unit it doesn't normally go into. That is definitely should be like something they definitely play around with more. It's so cool. But also down here, it's like a slightly more toolboxy warhorde, but doesn't go. It kind of gives like a little bit of output for more sneakiness, but doesn't go too far into just being sneaky that loses all output. Plus 1 OC, fantastic, especially with Storm Boys, brilliant. Get sustained hits, 1 lethal hits. Great. Having the choice. Again, you don't have to eat your own guys. Brilliant. Probably an orky thing, but you don't have to eat your own guys. But that's pretty damn good. And it's only the fight phase, so it stops it being oppressive in the shooting phase. I think the main order everyone looking up here is this add 1 to hit roll for shooting, makes the looters look real good. You can eligible to shoot and declare a challenge turn, which it fell back. Again, great for orcs. I really like that. Again, it's these... So you got, yeah, this is what I'm about, Danny. Like the player expression, this detachment is great. You've got toolboxy unit here. You've got being able to add OCs quite toolboxy because it means you can steal objectives that you weren't thinking you were going to get it. Your opponent's movement phase, just as an enemy unit falls back. Unit can make a normal move up to 6. That doesn't mean you have to go near them. You can go left, you can go right. It can just dodge stuff, so it can mean you can do really risky tags, knowing if your opponent falls back. You can move behind a wall. That's going to really reward player agency and like being able to good positioning. Storm Boys unit gets tank shock. Cool, that's fine. It's a cute little thing. That's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's cool. One commandos or Storm Boys unit that is not of an engagement range, you can put them into strategic reserves. Now this, I think, is a good example of... This is kind of what I wish the NID one was a little bit more like, because the base rule affects lots of things. As long as it's infantry, and mounted in this case, that's pretty good. But it obviously has, like, a please give us, like, you know, an extra way to, like, make Storm Boys and Commandos good. So it does have them. It has a stratagem here that makes just for them. It also has another stratagem here. So it's got 2 stratagems that are unit locked. But there are 4 that can be used on any Orcs unit, which is nice. Your abilities up here can be used on Orc units, which is great. You have an extra way to get some more Storm Boys in. And a lot of the stuff up here doesn't require them exactly. So it's like got the nice balance of, hey, we want to incentivize you to take these units, but don't feel locked to spamming them, which I think Tyrant Warrior spam kind of feels a little bit. I feel like that's why it kind of just holds down the Tyrant Warrior one. Now, I think that's the main reason this goes above the Tyrant Warrior one. I think it's incredibly fun. It's incredibly thematic. it gives people a real reason to play, because we know the Orc detachments, and I think this is one of the better ones as well. I think this is like almost Orc Gladius kind of thing, which is kind of funny. It's not, but it kind of weirdly is, and I think this is going to really reward people. I also just, the thematics of it are great. Just having like orcs giving out orders, it just sounds so funny. But where does it come in nailed it? Because it clearly isn't nailed it. I don't think I've heard an upset orc player about this one, so that's a good sign. It is a good sign that it's been received well. I've not heard any orc players complain about this. I've heard orc players being like, "Hey, this looks really good." Does it dethrone Warhorde? I don't know. I think it's actually like on the same par as Warhorde. I think it's a great alternative to it. Like I said, you lose a bit of the raw output and the raw power, but you gain some extra sneaky tricks. Especially if you're running more commandos and storm boys, it's obviously then gets even better value. But where does it fit on the nailed it tier? I like it more than the Deathwatch detachment. I think it fits like in here, like between these three here. I think these three here are like some of the... Actually, this one, yeah. I think these four, the CSM, the Custodes, the Orc one, the Dark Ninja one, are some of the most flavorful detachments to me. I think these are some of the greatest ones that have been made. I know the power isn't the greatest in all of them. The Dark Ninja one player, the Dark Ninja players like hate this one for some reason. But I genuinely think these are some of the best, coolest designed rules. This one incentivizes Ravenwing and Deathwing working together. This makes Orc into Imperial Guard. This is, hey, I've got a load of big stompy dreadnoughts that I haven't been able to use all edition. And this one is, hey, let's make some crazy, wacky, monstrous infantry. I think these are some of the most fun ones here out of everything. The Admech one is just generically good. Like, this one is genuinely, like, close to slipping up to here, just for how generically good it is. And whether it actually... This could actually be up here, to be honest, upon thinking about it. I need to have a think. Does the Admech one dethrone Skitari Hunter cohort? Because it's really good. It's a really good generalist attachment. But I'm not going to put it up there just yet. Does it bump down Deathwatch? Ooh. Deathwatch do have potential. The thing, the Deathwatch only nailed it because they got an index that didn't exist. They brought the army back, and I really feel like that should be something that should be highlighted and been like, this was nailed it. You did the right thing. You brought it back. That being said, does it, in the grand scheme of like all Marines, possibly this could possibly come down to real potential, to be honest, because it's got some very strong stuff in it. Don't get me wrong. There's some horrendous like things this army can do. But does it make people excited to play it? I mean, I'm going to keep it up there for now. We'll see how it goes. If this starts getting really long, we might chop and change some things. We'll see. But I think Orc one is one of the most brilliantly designed ones. I think it's great. Like, genuinely one of my favourites. So that's still there. Oh god, the word wager. I've never this gave me a goddamn aneurysm when I tried reading it. This was horrible to read. Then when you understand what it is, it's kind of like weird and fun. It's kind of like you need to kill units in an order. So it's like kill with a Drukhari, then kill with a Harlequin, then kill with a Drukhari, and kill with a Harlequin. Now, I don't know how Drukhari players feel about this, because I don't see many Drukhari players, I'm not going to lie. So the first thing is, obviously, you kind of need Harlequins. So if you're not interested in Harlequins, this is a complete dud for you. However, if you do like Harlequins, this gives a very, very strange and very unique playstyle where you are basically going back and forth between units trying to kill things. The problem I kind of have with this is, if you kind of fuck up, and if you don't balance it right, and someone just does the right thing and just kills, like, the half of the army that you had, like, if you just focus fire on every Harlequin unit, like, this stops working. Like, because they can't go back and forth anymore. And I also feel like this can fall apart so quick. Because if you've set up, okay, I've put Scourges over here, I've got a Harlequin troop over here, so the plan is Scourges shoot, kill that, which then flips the Harlequins into the losing bet. Then I can use the stratagem over here to go into it. They can charge in and get the stuff. And then the Scourges just whiff. Everything just falls apart really badly. And I don't know if that's, like, going to be more frustrating than it is fun. I think, like, as a designer, I think it's really fun design. But I think it has... Whereas the Orcs one, it's like you issue the orders, it does the thing. This one has just... it's going to have some feels bad moments. It's going to have some real feels bad moments when something doesn't go the right way, and I think it doesn't kind of work. And also, the Harlequin datasheets aren't the greatest, especially the melee troop. They're just not great. Like, the bikes are pretty good. Like, bikes and scourges haywire in every vehicle is actually very good. But I don't know. This one is probably the hardest one, I think, to analyze because it's just so weird. It's just so strange. Jumping back and forth between killing Harlequins and Eldar units, it's really unique. It's hoops more and more. It is a lot of hoops because the entire army is a giant hoop. And when you have armies that just get power bonuses, not mention anything. When you get armies that just have power bonuses for just existing, jumping through hoops, which can potentially fail, just to get some power, is probably like, do you even get a buff at all if you don't get the hoop? So if you fail the first hoop, so Drukhari units will reroll hit rolls of 1. Oh, they're winning. So Harlequin, oh, that's even worse because you actually get better. You get better stratagems when you get better when you're losing the wager. That's it. And Drukhari have the shooty really, so it's like you kind of would rather have the Harlequins win, which is kind of weird. As per Drukhari players, you can just ignore the detachment and play with really good strats. So if you are playing this, then. So if that's what's been said in the Drukhari groups, if you are playing this just for these and completely ignoring this up here, that is an instant fail to me. That is an instant thanks but no thanks. That is terrible design. So, I mean, if that's the current... Like, Jesse, I'm going to have to rely on you here because I'm not in Eldar groups. I don't do Eldar. Like, Eldar is the thing I'm least interested in this game next to Knights. But I respect this one for being more interesting than the Eldar one. But, man, it's a giant hoop to jump through. And if you're just going to play it for the stratagems, that's a failure of design to me. And I don't know if that's something I can really enjoy and really get behind if it's that bad. Because, I mean, what do we have? So, subtract 1 from the hit roll in close combat. Cool. After it's selected your target. Once you've been selected the target... you get to fight on death, cool, that's fine. So you get fight on death. Cool, lethal sustained hits, that's pretty good, yep. Shot on the odds, you have to advanced shooting charge, yep, okay. I can see why everyone's just saying just use these. Yep, you don't really care about this. Okay, yeah, so the strats in here are actually really good. Really, really, really good. But I'm not going to put this any higher than if people are just going to ignore the thing. I can't. The stratagem suit is great, but your detachment rules have... And again, this isn't a... Again, anyone's tuning in, this isn't a competitive tier list. If that's what... I'm going to trust Scary's opinion then. I'll trust Scary, Jesse. This is not a competitive list. This is how good is the detachment in terms of, like, design. How good is it for the army? How fun is it? It's a little bit of everything. How much does it make you want to give it a try? And if your core detachment rules something you're going to ignore, I'm sorry, you're down here. I actually would rather have the Chaos Knights eating my guys. But the stratagems are really powerful. I'll give them that. But again, does that mean you want to play them? What do you reckon, chat? Is it thanks but no thanks or real potential? Because the strats were really good. It's just a shame that the core army rule kind of sucks. Quite a lot. Thank you very much for the $7 super chat, mate. Merry Christmas all and happy holidays. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to yourself as well, my good friend. Well, I'll let you guys in chat come up with some opinions on this one. I'm going to move to the next one just in case for now. Oh god, this thing. What do we talk about with Librarius Conclave? This has... This is so weird. We all know, anyone that's in the loop knows about this combo with Fusillade. With this 15-point enhancement, you can have a unit of Stern Guard dump something like 24 Dev Wounds. You can one-tap a Monolith from full health. It's stupid. It is truly stupid. Outside of that... So, The detachment only benefits Psycho units, so you need to have a lot of librarians. Are you going to bring... The question is, like, I actually think we should ignore the Stern Guard combo. The Stern Guard combo is incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. But it's one unit. I can kind of see it getting changed. It becomes oppressive. And, like, that's the most egregious thing in here. It's got some really good stuff. But I think that's the most egregious thing. I actually like the disciplines and how it all works. Where you pick one. Which is really nice. And you get to give everyone some movements. Again, it's got... I love choices. I love giving decisions here. It kind of sucks that you have to have Psycho units in your army, so it means you have to bring a lot of Psychos. It means some things in your army are just not going to get an attachment rule, which means these probably could be more powerful, but the strategies are pretty decent. Again, they all require Psycho units. This for me, outside of the Sterling combo, honestly, if it was talking about thematics, potentially he's nailed it, because thematically, librarians, you don't really see much outside of units just trying to give them like a 4-up invulnerable. This makes librarians genuinely interesting and actually look fun to play with. Like, I would play this. I genuinely would play this because it looks fun. Now, the Sturger combo is a bit stupid, admittedly, but we're just gonna brush that aside for a second because it's one unit. It'll probably get fixed if it's super egregious, and you are, like I said, you're giving up like detachment rule on like everything else. Does it dispose Gladius? No, but Gladius is an extremely unfair. Gladius is just too good. Now, the recent changes to Marines as well, I don't think you're going to see much else other than probably Gladius or Vanguard, competitively. But does this set out with the goals at the start that we set, which is, does this incentivize... Okay, if you are a Marine player in the chat, and you have Librarians, would this make you want to play Librarians? Because I genuinely think it would. There's a lot of good stuff in here, a lot of fun stuff that makes Librarians good. It's a shame that you're basically forced to put Librarians in every unit. Like, it'd be great if you just had an upgrade that was like 10 points. The character gains the Psychic keyword. It doesn't let him do anything, and in fact, it just makes him worse to like being shot at. But it'd be cool to be able to just be like, okay, cool, I can give this to a squad, which would be nice. I think that's the one thing this could maybe be missing. But I genuinely think overall, it's actually got some good stuff. You've got a nice suit of like stratagems here. They all have enhanced versions depending if you're in the correct discipline, which means like discipline choice is actually quite interesting. It's not just I will not play it. Okay, Necromancer Goblin coming pretty harsh on this one. So what is it Necromancer Goblin that puts you off on it? Because I'd actually find it interesting, or is it just too limited? I do wonder. I do understand, like, it's annoying to not have any rules for all your vehicles. Stuff. Like, you get oaths, obviously, but you do go up everything else. Like, you don't get any, like, doctrines or anything like that. Would you not run this at all? Because, I mean, I think it could have potential, but I don't know. If right now, if Chidori came out and killed the Fusilier Dev Wound combo, would you still run it? That's the question. Is there any life in this par the Fusilier combo? That's the real question. So I'm not sure. I personally would, because I'm a weird little snowflake and like stuff like this. But in general, I think it could actually be too limiting. I get you wanted to run Librarians, but I would rather like be able to have... If the Psycho unit could project auras of this, that would be interesting. Even if it's just affects infantry. But I feel like having to start every list with like... Because you're not going to play this with 2 Librarians. You're just not. Because you're giving up way too much. Which means you're going to have to bring, like... When does this start becoming efficient? 5 Librarians? 6 Librarians? Because you're going to bring 3 other types. That means, like, 3 Terminator ones and 3 Power Armored ones. And then you got Phobos ones, which are okay, but you're not really using them aggressively. Oh, I think this is one of those where the more you actually think about it, the worse it actually becomes. Oh, but does it make it a thanks but no thanks tier? That's a question. I think it's cool and it's got legs, but do people want to run out and go and buy 9 Librarians? Do I want the rest of my army to just get no benefit because I wanted to bring some funny Librarians? Or would I just rather have an army that makes everything work better? Yeah, you basically need to bring like 9 Librarians to get a value on this. Because, like, yeah, to be fair, when I look at them compared up to here, Even this one, Military Warriors still has benefits to other things. The Drukhari one is ignoring its detachment rule and using the great stratagems. Ours just gives us flat out stealth and scout, which is great. Yeah, this actually might be this. I was of the initial impression that I should put this like in nailed it because of the thematics of it, but actually, the more you think about it, yeah, you're asking me to bring 6 librarians, and to do that, that means all my characters I can't really bring anything else, so no captains, no lieutenants, because I'm just going to end up spending 800 points in psychers. Yeah, you know what? This actually might be a thanks, but no thanks. Interesting. Didn't see that one coming. Someone go and play this. Someone go and play this and then come back to me and tell me if it's actually good, and we'll move it up next week. But right now, actually, I'm thinking about the amount of librarians you have to bring for it to be good. Obviously, your Ultramarines, you get like typic areas, which maybe makes it a bit better. But all the other ones don't have named guys. Like, you're not going to take in Blood Angels over like Liberator Assault Groups, like even you got Mephiston and whatnot. Yeah, I've actually seen no buzz about it with the other guys as well. Like, I've not seen Dark Angel, but this would be amazing because again, they can't really put stuff that'd make much use out of it. So, you know what? Yeah, okay. Maybe this is a thanks, but no thanks. Fair play. Which brings us lastly to today. Bridgehead Strike. This one scares me a bit because it makes Scions good. Does anyone get shot by Scions before and watch their Death Shroud evaporate? Because that instantly made me think about putting it up here. Now, that being said, that is my initial gut reaction. It's a little bit naughty. Because outside of that, what does it actually give the infantry? Real hit rolls of 1. They only get the benefit when they disembark a transport or when they set up, which is admittedly a lot for Scions. But at the same time, you're giving up army-wide lethal hits, so the Scions aren't going to have lethal hits. You're also, and you're giving up on the tanks against your tanks, so the tanks get nothing. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure some out lazy for the Demon's detachments. We'll figure it out. So it makes the drop extremely scary. Now, the drop being obviously a bit nerfed because they've only got a 6-inch drop now rather than a 3-inch drop. It can maybe be played around here, which is actually quite interesting. I actually don't think this is as scary as it is when I first read it. I mean, it's got some really good stuff to it. Like, it's got a 6-inch deep strike, which is quite nice. Aquilons do it naturally, which is fine. Plus 1 AP and strength to the hotshot las guns and stuff. It's not really the problem. The problem was the mass plasma they brought. And again, the plasma was scary because it had lethal hits and full rerolls to hit. So it could just dome you. So, bear in mind, all these guns shooting out of Death Shroud are going to need 5s to wound. Or, again, the plasma's going to need 4s to wound, which is a lot better than being lethal hitted all the time. So, actually, it might be actually a DPS output loss. Because they're going to need 4s to wound. Well, we'll counter that. So, it'll be 3s to wound. But then you could also play... maths gets weird. Because then you're playing Flybone and you can counter that with a -1 to win from a Blight Hauler. It's quite interesting. They can shoot in a turn of the advance, so assault's pretty good. This just makes the tanks a lot less powerful. They're still good, but not having lethal hits on the tanks means they're just not as efficient into everything. Did the Quiet Lord? How did it go? How did that game go, Quiet Lord? I'd be interested. I've not had a chance to catch any battle reports recently. This is a good thing, because as weeks go by and we can see stuff, we can come back to this maybe like a month's time and be like, well, we were fucking wrong. Because it's quite funny. Again, nobody take this seriously. This is just how I feel things are and how I designed and happy people should be with them. Now, as for return, strip cover's pretty good. It's quite nice, the little low AP. I don't know if I think this is actually busted. Because it's only infantry, and what are the scary damaging infantry units? They are Scions. Like, that's it. I'm not scared of Cadians, I'm not scared of Catachans. All the damage on the games I've played against Guard come from the tank commanders and the Scions. And the Scions, you can only take 3 squads, max. Are you going to drop all your detachment rules for 3 Scion squads? Bear in mind the Scion squads are still very good in the other one. I actually don't think you will. Oh, fucking of course you are, Sam. So you know what? I don't think this is a little bit naughty. I think this is more towards nailed it, because it does mean those, like, the thematics of it, of them all dropping or disembarking the transports and firing away. Wait, don't they get a thingy in this, actually? Let me double check. Let me get battle line. Yes, so you can have 6 units. Okay. Now it's a little bit more scary. So you know what? In 6 units of Scions, that's actually quite scary. And +1 to wound when they disembark with all the weapons they can bring. That brings up the power level now. So now, and when it was just 3 squads, I was like, oh, that's not too bad. 6 squads, that's a little bit more. So I don't know if this goes into a little bit naughty or if this stays in nailed it. Because, I mean, they wanted to power boost Scions, who've definitely done that. Yeah, I've just checked, Bob. They get battle lines, so that is actually kind of scary. I won't lie. This actually might sneak into a little bit naughty then, because Scions were already blowing stuff away. You can still bring tank commanders. It's not like you can't bring them. Okay, they lose lethal hits, but at the same time, like they can still take aim. They can still fire everything. The stratagems in the core Astra Militarum book weren't used very much. Mainly just overlapping fields of fire and reinforcements. These are probably better in general. This one's kind of throwaway. It requires a Valkyrie. You're just not going to use that. But still being able to remove cover from you, that's very good. Because again, you can have a transport do that. So you can have a Taurox do that. And then the guys who get out can shoot. Or a Chimera do that. And guys get out and shoot. Giving AP and strength to las volleys, hot shot things. It's pretty good. The AP being probably more impactful. Well, the strength's pretty good. Can make those things hurt quite hard. Especially with... The thing is that actually the +1 to strength plus the +1 to wound means you can wound Marines on... You're getting effectively +2 to wound versus Marines. Because you hop out, you strength 3, you shoot a Marine, you get +1 strength, so now you strength 4, so you wound on 4, so that's what +1 to wound. Then you get the additional +1 to wound from disembarking or setting up, +2 to wound effectively by getting around the +2 to wound caveat. Like you can't stack more than one, because one is a strength buff, the other is a +1 to wound. Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, actually this is kind of scary. I don't think it's going to be like... I think it's on the Dread Knights here. It's like, hey, we're going to spam the same unit. That's going to be really efficient at killing everything. So, you know what? This is actually potentially a little bit naughty. Yeah, you know what? I'm putting that a little bit naughty. Guard are already doing incredibly well. So to see Scions especially go up to 60-man capability... So again with the new Custodes versus new Eldar Custode. Yeah, I can see that. Like, if you're doing new Custodes with all walkers and then you're running to like Fire Prism spam, you're probably going to get shredded. Yeah, that's the thing I saw. Like, I wasn't that impressed by it until I saw the battle line, Sam. But knowing you can have 6 units of Scions is a big deal. Like, that actually puts that straight up into naughty for me. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is where we're probably at the moment. I feel like these two up here are up here because units that are going to abuse the rule are a little too strong. Dread Knights over here, and the Guard being the Scion spam. The rest of it's fine, generally. Nailed it. We've added today CSM. I think that's brilliant. Orcs are brilliant. Those 2 rules are just so flavorful, so impactful, and powerful, so I really like to see them. We have moved up to real potential. I genuinely think I have been wrong on my assessment. Again, I stick by my guns on what I say about some of it. I don't think the enhancements are great. I don't think the stratagems are that great in it. I think there's a lot of duds. But the core ability to just get across the board standard objectives is good. I think we may struggle in the current meta just because due to oath changes and how that all plays out. But I think it is generically better than I may have first assessed. And we'll have videos to cover it. We're going to do a series called Learning to Love Flyblown Host. And I'm going to obviously do some tactics videos to do with Flyblown Host. And we'll see where we go with it. But I reckon this is probably where we're at right now. Now, obviously, coming up this week, we're going to have... What have we got tomorrow? We've got Demons tomorrow. And then there'll be an Imperial Forces. So we're probably going to see something like Blood Angels. We're going to see one of these guys. Could be Space Wolves even. So we've got an interesting week. Definitely going to see... Yeah, we've still got a fair bit to go through, to be honest. So it'll be interesting. I'm obviously looking forward to the Votan one as a Votan player myself. I'm looking forward to that one. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll get some even more. Yeah, hopefully the 4 demon ones tomorrow could be something interesting. I'd like to see the Nurgle one. It might make me get some more interested in getting some thingies. Mostly Aspect Warriors. So they were running the new Eldar detachment with just Aspect Warriors. I mean, I'm going to keep that in. Why did you even bother? Because that's still a fail then, in my opinion. If you're still like just running it for that, I don't know. That feels weird to me. That's supposed to be a tank detachment and it's doing better with Aspect Warriors. Feels a little weird to me. I don't know, that seems weird. But again, this isn't a power level tier list. This is how do I think well designed is, how interesting is it, how much does it make me want to go play it. These guys just do not get that there. But yeah, that's all we're going to do for now. Prometheus Williams, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's been a great year for the Discussing Resilient podcast. Thank you, Will, David, and Stay Rotten Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Prometheus. It has been a mad year. We're almost at 8k subscribers as well. which is going to be, pretty mad, and we'll make sure we do something for that. And onwards to 10k. And Paddy Thomas as well, thank you very much for coming to play green. Sorry, buddy, let's see it there. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it. Do you think there'll be an Emperor's Children attachment? I think we're going to get an Emperor's Children reveal on Christmas. I think we're going to see the full army. They're going to show us all the models, and we're going to get it like next year at some point. And I am hyped as fuck for that. But for now, everyone, I'm going to make a quick leave because we are recording in 30 minutes with Tycho from Play on Tabletop. So he's going to have. So look forward to the episode coming up soon. I have an Infection Critical episode that's also going to go up probably tomorrow at some point. And then we've got a lot of Fly Blown Host. We've got a top 5 combos for Fly Blown Host video coming up. Me learning to love Fly Blown Host. And I got an RTT on the 28th coming up, which I'm taking Fly Blown Host 2. And we're going to see how that goes. So we've got plenty of content still to come. Oh, Super Dance can be used on the fly. Oh, Deep Strike. Oh, okay, right. I misread that one. Is it? Oh, he's not engaged range. Oh, okay. I thought it was and one. I thought you had like have a plane nearby a squad and he picks it up and then it flies away. Okay. Okay. That is, yeah. Okay, uppy down. Yeah, this is 100% then. This is 100% a little bit naughty. I'm going to put it above there. That's pretty grim. That is pretty grim. But for now, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, it's just a fun little tale. Don't take it too seriously. And Mikey Ray, 9 months membership. Thank you so much. Oh, hey, I advanced forward 4. Indeed, you did, mate. You advanced that one game, advanced us forward so many places. But yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since they've been releasing these detachments. Anyone have any guesses who's on top of them? Marines, Ultramarines and Necrons. It's not even close. Ultramarines are so busted with the new Necrons as well right now. Like, they're going to be the main guys. But for now, we'll get into that, don't worry, next normal episode. But I expect to see lots of blueberries around. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. I will catch you all on the next episode. Thank you so much for having a bit of a laugh and engaging in the chat. It's always nice to chat to you guys. So we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, music, of course. Derp.
In the shadow of decay I rise, Typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nobles rot I lay worlds to waste. The reaper's scythe, no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperial's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Language howl, the gasping walls, the tides age, nowhere to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.